So I listed my first colouring book on Etsy about a month ago. Let's see how it's performing so far. So over on Etsy, I launched a swear word colouring book for adults. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I sell pre-made book covers over on Etsy, but I've been looking at expanding what kind of digital files I can offer on Etsy in order to make additional income. And so I already make colouring books over on Amazon KDP, and I thought, why not reuse them and sell them as digital downloads over on Etsy? So this was my first attempt at a listing over on Etsy. So I've just blurred out the swear words there so I don't get demonetized by YouTube. But this listing is essentially 25 digital PDF pages that you can either print at home or download and colour in on an electronic device. I priced it at $3.59 in the UK, which was maybe a little bit high, but I've ran a sale on it so that it sells at $2.69. So the reason why I chose this swear word colouring niche is I used a tool called Everbee to do some keyword research. So I'm going to just show you that really quickly now. So Everbee is this fantastic tool which plugs into your browser and it integrates into Etsy and your Etsy shop as well. And so if you come on down to the keyword research tool, you can start searching around for certain keywords. And so I was interested in what to sell within the digital colouring pages niche. And so if we search for that keyword, we can see all of the results down here. So you can list by volume, competition, or keyword score. But what I tend to do is add some filters in there because you don't want to be competing against 180,000 other listings. So all you need to do is click this filter option. Let's say a max of 50,000 competitors. And also we want to have a minimum search of, say, 100 searches a month. And if we search by volume, we can start looking through some of the suggested keywords and see if there's something that we find that, might pique our interest. So scrolling down, you've got all of the basic digital colouring pages keywords. And then you've got things like cute colouring pages, CocoYO colouring pages, which obviously you couldn't really target yourself on Etsy. But you've got things like relaxing digital colouring page, cozy digital colouring pages. So they're fantastic options to give a go for yourself. And for my next colouring book listing, I think I'm going to try that relaxing, cozy niche. There's also things like inspirational colouring pages, which is quite a good one to target. The reason why I created a swear word colouring book is just due to the amount of competition. So obviously here, there's a low volume of searches for this search term, but there's also a low amount of competition as well. So for digital adult colouring pages swear words, there's only 339 competitors, but there's only an estimated 47 searches a month. So not a ton of volume. And same with the similar search terms here. And that's pretty much what I've experienced with my listing. So if we come on over to look at how my listings performed in the first month since launching, I think this reflects the data quite well. So this is my listing since it launched about a month ago. So you can see here it's had 35 visits. And so that links up nicely to that, say, 40 odd searches a month. And I've sold one item so far. That means that so far on Etsy with my first colouring book listing, I've made a revenue of £2.24 within the first month. So not a huge amount of money, obviously, but the idea is I want to create more of these, especially in areas that have a bit more of an interest. But in order to launch this listing effectively, I also used ads. So come on over to my Etsy ads for this book. Over the last 30 days, I've spent $3.74 and got 17 clicks. So that means almost half of my clicks came from ads and almost half were organic. And so you can see here, I'm getting a few views every day and 0 to 2 clicks per day for this listing. So again, there's not a ton of demand for this colouring book, but I did manage to get one sale over the last month. But as you can see, with those Etsy ads and my revenue, I've not made a profit on this one colouring page listing. So I'm going to break it down for you now, how much it's made in the first month. So from an income of £2.38, I had to pay a sales tax of 14p. And then I also had to pay fees of 96p. So every time you make a sale over on Etsy, you have to pay various fees. And over a third of my income was fees. Then we also have to take off the advertising cost. When I translate that to English pounds, it's around £2.80, which means my profit in the first month for this colouring book on Etsy was minus £1.52. That's approximately minus $2. So not a fantastic start for my colouring book experiment over on Etsy. However, because I've been using Amazon ads, it is ranking really nicely at the top of search for that swear word colouring page. So the hope is that even when I turn my ads off, it's still going to rank organically and it's going to continue to get ongoing organic sales. So whilst it's running at a loss at the moment, over time that should break even and then go towards a profit. And then to build upon that in the future, all the customers that come in for that one listing, I want them to find other listings. So I want repeat purchases on the shop. So I need to add a load more colouring book listings over on Etsy. So the next one might be a cozy colouring book listing. The one after that might be a relaxing colouring book listing. Then I might do an inspirational colouring book listing. I might do another swear book listing. There's all these options, but the more colouring book listings I have there, the more chance I have for repeat purchase. So not a fantastic first month, but I have learned a few things over on Etsy. Ad spend is about long-term growth. So just as I mentioned there, I'm now ranking at the top of search for that swear word colouring book search term over on Etsy. So hopefully that's going to drive long-term organic sales. As you've seen as well, fees can really hurt your profit. So when you're pricing your listings over on Etsy, remember that you need to pay fees. So you might think, right, I can sell a listing at $1.99 and that's fine, but you might only make £1.10 from that $1.99. So you just need to use the fee calculator to find out how much you'd actually be bringing home when you sell a product. So instead of maybe pricing at $2.99, I might look at trying to price it at $3.99, $4.99, but having more colouring pages. So there's a lot of strategies that you can test over on Etsy, either pricing cheap, pricing higher with a bigger offering, but you need to be aware of the fees for both of those strategies. And as mentioned, I think you need to focus on return customers. So especially when you first get going, you definitely need to spend money on ads over on Etsy in order to help your listings rank for certain keywords. However, once you get those initial sales and you get some reviews, you get some followers to your shop, there's every chance they're going to buy more products in the future. And so it's important to have additional listings, not just that one like I've got here. So yeah, not a complete failure, but not a success either. You might be thinking, hey, you've just lost money. And that's true. But hopefully over the long term, it will make money. And my additional colouring page listings that I make as well are going to bring in more money as well. If you want to find out how that goes, how I get on in the future, you need to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for further content around my Etsy stores. That's it for this one. If you want to check out Everbee for yourself, it's a fantastic little keyword tool. You can click the link in the description below to get a free trial. Otherwise, make sure to hit that like button and I'll see you in the next video.